वेलकम बैक स्टूडेंट्स। लास्ट लेक्चर में हमने मैटर क्या होता है और 3 फिज़िकल स्टेट्स ऑफ मैटर, सॉलिड, लिक्विड और गैसेस और उनकी प्रॉपर्टीज़ को डिटेल में पढ़ा। हमने ये भी देखा कि अरेंजमेंट ऑफ पार्टिकल्स के अनुसार कितने टाइप के सॉलिड्स होते हैं। We have also learned the difference between crystalline and amorphous solids. In today's lecture, we will focus on crystalline solids. Most of the solids are crystalline in nature. Metallic solids like gold, silver, copper, zinc, inorganic salts like sodium chloride, copper sulfate, potassium bromide are all crystalline in nature. Non-metallic solids like phosphorus, sulfur, diamond are also crystalline in nature. Some of the organic compounds like oxalic acid, benzoic acid, naphthalene are also crystalline in nature. ये सारे crystalline solids हैं, but they have different physical properties and formed by different type of interparticle force of attraction. Crystalline solids are classified on the basis of types of particles on them and the type of chemical bonding that takes place between the particles. They are classified into 4 types: ionic solids, covalent solids, molecular solids, and metallic solids. Ionic solids are composed of oppositely charged ions. As you can see in the figure, they have positively charged cation and negatively charged anion. These ions are arranged in such a way so as to balance each other so that the molecule is electrically neutral. Now if you observe the figure carefully, you can see that cations are smaller in size and anions are larger in size. Cations are smaller in size because they are formed by the loss of electron, while the nuclear charge remains the same. As a result, there is a decrease in the atomic size, so the cation looks smaller. Anions are larger in size because of the gain of the electron. As the electrons are added to the valence shell and the nuclear charge remains the same, so there is a lesser pull of electron towards the nucleus. This results in the same atomic size or slightly increase in the atomic size as compared to the neutral atom. Now, ionic solids are formed by the force of attraction between the oppositely charged particles, that is the positive and the negative ion, and the force of repulsion between the ions of the same charge. That means two forces are acting simultaneously. First, the force of attraction between the positively charged particles and the force of repulsion between the same charge, that is the positive and negative and the negatively charged particles. These two opposite forces results in well ordered 3-dimensional arrangement of the ions in the ionic solids. As you can see in the figure of sodium chloride, it is arranged in a 3 dimension. That means it is arranged in the 3 axes. Let us understand by taking an example of sodium chloride. The atomic number of sodium is 11, that is 281. Sodium has one electron in its valence shell. It has a tendency to lose one electron to acquire the configuration of the nearest inert gas, neon. Chlorine has the atomic number 17. It has the configuration 287. It has a tendency to gain one electron and thereby acquire the configuration of the nearest inert gas, that is argon. During the combination of sodium and chlorine atom, the sodium atom transfers its valence electron to the chlorine atom. Sodium atom changes to sodium cation while the chlorine atom changes to chloride anion. The two ions are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. The formation of ionic bond between the sodium and chlorine can be shown as in the slide. Let us go through some of the important properties of the ionic solids. Ionic solids are very hard because of the strong electrostatic force of attraction between the ions. They are also brittle due to non-directional ionic bond between the ions. Ionic bond involves oppositely charged ions, so they are non-directional in nature. Another important properties of the ionic solids are they are non-conductors of electricity in a solid state because the free electrons are not available. However, in a fused state or in the aqueous solution, they conduct electricity. You can see in the first figure when that is the example of sodium chloride. When sodium chloride is in the solid state, the positive and negative charges are very close to each other and there is no free electrons. When it is dissolved in water, this ion becomes free and they conduct electricity. One more property of the ionic solid is on applying the shearing force, ionic crystals undergo distortion and there is a fracture in the crystal structure. कोई भी आयोनिक सॉलिड्स को यदि हम हैमर करते हैं या फिर कोई फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं तो जब एक पीस वहाँ से निकल जाता है तो वहाँ पे ये सब पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव आयन से बना हुआ है. तो जब ये स्ट्रक्चर में डिस्टॉर्ट होता है तो जो सेम चार्जेस हैं वो क्लोज में आते हैं और इसके कारण उसमें रिपल्शन होता है और वो बिखर जाता है. Covalent solids are formed by covalent bonds between the two constituent atoms. These bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. Covalent solids are also called as covalent network solids because the atoms are held together by extended network of covalent bonds, or you can say they are formed by continuous network extended throughout the material. Here the constituent atoms may be similar as in diamond or it may be dissimilar as in silicon carbide. The figures of these two network solids is given in the slide, that is diamond and silicon carbide. Let us discuss some of the important properties of covalent solids. Covalent solids are strong and directional in nature. So, atoms are held very strongly at their positions due to the strong covalent bond. Such solids are very hard and incompressible. They have extremely high melting point and they even decompose before melting. Covalent solids are poor conductors of heat and electricity except graphite because the electrons are localized in a covalent bond and hence free electrons are not available. Because of this, they are the poor conductors of heat and electricity. Let us understand this with an example of diamond. In diamond, each carbon atom is bonded tetrahedrally to four other carbon atoms. The carbon atoms are sp3 hybridized. As you know, the electronic configuration of carbon is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p2. As you can see in the figure, one electron from the 2s orbital goes to 2pz orbital to form 4 sp3 hybridized orbitals. These atoms are held together by strong carbon-carbon covalent bond and this extends in all direction to form a big giant molecule. So the melting point of diamond is high. If we look into the inside structure of diamond, we can see every 6 carbon atoms are arranged in a chair conformation similar to cyclohexane. Because of this, diamond is the hardest material. In this slide, you can clearly see how tetrahedrally bonded carbon atom forms 6-membered closed ring. Isn't it beautiful? In graphite, each carbon atom is bonded to 3 other carbon atoms to form a trigonal planar geometry. The carbon atom is sp2 hybridized. One electron from 2s orbital goes to 2pz orbitals. Here, one s orbital and 2p orbital hybridizes to form 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. The third p orbitals does not participate in hybridization. Now, each sp2 hybridized atom will covalently bond to 3 other carbon atom in the same layer to form interconnected hexagonal ring. Now these layers will overlap on each other to form solid. The layers are connected by weak intermolecular force of attraction called London or dispersion forces. The unhybridized p orbitals on the carbon atom of one layer will overlap with the p orbital of another layer to form a pi bond. These pi electrons are free to move from one layer to another and this makes graphite a good conductor of electricity. The strong covalent bond between the sp2 hybridized carbon atom makes a graphite a sufficiently hard. The layer of the carbon atoms can slide over one another. Due to this, it can be also used as a lubricant. होप आपको प्रॉपर्टीज़ ऑफ डायमंड एंड ग्रेफाइट क्लियरली समझ में आया होगा। अभी एग्ज़ाम्स में इसको कई तरह से पूछ सकते हैं, जैसे कि व्हाट आर द डिफरेंस बिटवीन डायमंड एंड ग्रेफाइट, व्हाई द ज्योमेट्री ऑफ द डायमंड इज़ टेट्राहेड्रल, और व्हाई द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ग्रेफाइट is trigonal planar, okay, and why the graphite is a good conductor of heat and electricity। इस तरह से पूछा जा सकता है और हर एक का आंसर आपको इसमें ही क्लियरली मिलेगा। नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ सॉलिड, दैट इज़ द मॉलिक्यूलर सॉलिड। जैसे कि नाम से ही पता चल रहा है, यहाँ पे जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स रहेंगे वो रहेगा मॉलिक्यूल्स। So molecular solids are essentially the collection of molecules held together by intermolecular force of attraction. These forces holding the solid together are much weaker as compared to ionic and the covalent solids. द बॉन्ड विद इन द मॉलिक्यूल आर कोवेलेंट, मतलब आपको पता है कि हर एक मॉलिक्यूल एटम से बना होता है। सो जो एटम्स के बीच में जो बॉन्ड है वो है कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड। तो कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड हमेशा स्ट्रॉन्ग रहेगा, लेकिन जब द मॉलिक्यूल्स आर हेल्ड टुगेदर बाय वेरियस टाइप ऑफ इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन, जो फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन मॉलिक्यूल्स को होल्ड कर रहा है वो क्या है, इसमें वीक है। So this we can understand with the this we can understand by studying the various type of intermolecular force of attraction। चैप्टर 10 में आपने 11th स्टैंडर्ड के चैप्टर 10 में आपने देखा कि हमने वेरियस टाइप ऑफ इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन पढ़ा था, जैसे कि डाइपोल डाइपोल इंटरैक्शन, डिस्पर्शन फोर्सेस या फिर हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग। तो हम लोग ये सब थोड़ा सा रिकॉल करेंगे और विथ एग्जांपल्स हम इसको समझने की कोशिश करेंगे। Let's understand the dipole-dipole interaction. This takes place in a polar molecules. In this, the molecule has two poles. Let us understand by taking the example of HCl. In HCl, hydrogen is attached to chlorine atom by covalent bond. Due to the difference in the electronegativities, the shared pair of electron will shift towards the chlorine atom. As a result, the chlorine will acquire partial negative charge and hydrogen will acquire partial positive charge. Thus, the polar molecules will have permanent dipole moments. When this polar molecules encounters another polar molecules, the positive end of one molecule is attracted to the negative end of another polar molecule. Many such molecules have dipoles and their interaction is termed as dipole-dipole interaction. These forces are generally weak and is significant only when the molecules are in close contact, as in solid and liquid. Another type of interaction is the dispersion forces. This is also called as London forces. This takes place in a non-polar molecule. The electron cloud of one molecule becomes attracted to the nucleus of another molecule, so the distribution of electron changes and this creates a temporary dipole. Let us understand by this. Look at the figure 1. When two molecules approaches each other, the attractive forces and the repulsive forces between their electrons and nuclei will lead to the distortion in the electron cloud. This is called polarizability, and this will result in a temporary dipole, and this molecule will attract the another molecule. Examples of dispersion forces are carbon dioxide, methane, neon, argon, etc. As you can see in the figure 2, it is the methane molecule. In methane molecule, each carbon atom is attached to 4 other hydrogen atom by covalent bond. Now this methane molecules, each methane molecule is connected to the another methane molecule by dispersion forces. So the methane molecules are held together by dispersion forces. A hydrogen bond is a special type of interaction which occurs when hydrogen atom is bonded to strongly electronegative atom like fluorine, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. Hydrogen bonding is denoted by dotted line. Generally, density of solid ice is always greater than the density of its liquid state. But in case of water, liquid has more density than its solid state. Can you say why? X-ray crystallography study of ice shows that it has hexagonal three-dimensional crystal structure formed by intermolecular hydrogen bonding, which leaves almost half the space vacant. However, on melting of ice, some of the hydrogen bonds are broken and some of the empty space are occupied by water molecules. And surprisingly, density of liquid water becomes more than that of the ice. In the next slide, you can see the image of solid ice. Here the first figure is showing the hydrogen bonding between water molecules forming tetrahedral arrangement. And the second figure is the hexagonal crystalline structure of solid ice. Molecular solids are soft with low melting points. This is because of the weak intermolecular force of attraction as compared to ionic and the covalent solids. These are the poor conductors of heat and electricity. Metallic solids are formed by the atoms of the same metallic elements. The valence electrons are delocalized over the entire crystals, leaving behind positively charged metal ions. The attractive interaction between the cation and the mobile electron constitutes the metallic bond. इसको हम इस तरह से समझ सकते हैं कि वहाँ पे sea of electrons है और ये electrons सारे एटम को बिलोंग करेगा और उसमें पॉजिटिवली चार्ज आयंस एम्बेडेड है. ये जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है दे आर कॉन्स्टेंटली मूविंग एंड दे आर नॉट कन्फाइंड टू अ पर्टिकुलर एटम. नाउ द वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स are not confined to one place and not restricted to any one metal ion. If energy is supplied, the valence electron from the sea of electrons move from one place to another. The presence of this mobile electron makes all the metals a good conductor of heat and electricity. एक सिंपल एग्जाम्पल है, नॉर्मल यदि हम लोग मेटल लेते हैं और उसको हम लोग टच करते हैं तो ये जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मूव हो रहा है ये हमको महसूस नहीं होता है. जब हम उसको सर्किट में कनेक्ट करते हैं और उस तरफ से हम जब देखते हैं तो हम उसको टच करेंगे तो करंट लगता है. क्योंकि जब हम उसको सर्किट के साथ कनेक्ट करते हैं तो हम इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को एक डायरेक्शन मिल जाता है मूव करने के लिए. द इलेक्ट्रॉन स्टार्ट्स मूविंग इन वन डायरेक्शन. एज द रिजल्ट हमको करंट लगता है. इसी तरह से यदि मेटल का एक एंड हम लोग हीट करते हैं तो हम लोग को दूसरे एंड तक वो हीट पहुंच जाता है. कैसे? दैट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मोबाइल इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. एंड द मेटालिक बॉन्ड्स आर स्ट्रॉन्गर इन केस ऑफ द metallic solids. Let us discuss some of the important properties of metallic solids. Metals are hard because of the strong metallic bond. Metallic solids are malleable because they can be hammered or rolled into thin sheets. Metallic solids are ductile, so they can be drawn into thin wires of the required size. Metallic solids are good conductors of heat and electricity because of the free mobile electrons. Metals are also lustrous because these free electrons can move freely in the metal, and when the light is incident on them, they get reflected back. So these are some of the important properties of metallic solids. Let us summarize the topic. Most of the solids found in daily life are crystalline in nature. Metals like silver, copper, iron, non-metals like iodine, sulfur, and several compounds like sodium chloride, etc. are all crystalline solids. We know that attraction nature of constituent particles is mainly responsible for the existence of solid. On the basis of nature of force operating between the constituent particles, crystalline solids are classified into ionic solids, covalent solids, molecular solids, and the metallic solids. Now, ionic solids are those solids in which the ions are the particles, that is cations and the anions. Ionic solids, the force operating between the cations and anions are electrostatic force of attraction. These forces are quite strong in nature. We have studied the example of sodium chloride. These ionic solids are hard and brittle in nature. Ionic solids have high melting point and they are the poor conductors of electricity in the solid state. But when we dissolve or melt them, they act as a good conductors of electricity because the free electrons are available here. Ionic solids are soluble in polar solvents like water. Okay, now the next type of solid, that is the covalent solids. As the next type of solid is the covalent solids. In covalent solids, atoms of the same and different elements are interlinked to each other to form a covalent bonded network. They are also known as giant molecules. The interparticles force acting between them are covalent bonds. Covalent solids are also known as network solids because the covalent bond forms a giant interlocked network like structure. We have done the example of diamond and graphite. Covalent solids are directional in nature and strong. They are very hard. For example, diamond is the hardest substance. Covalent solids are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Exception is graphite, which is a good conductor of electricity. Although graphite is a covalent solid, it shows two exceptional properties due to its typical structure. They are graphite is soft and they can conduct electricity, and we have done why it is so. Now the next type of solid, that is the molecular solid. Now this molecular solids in which the molecules are held together by strong interactions. That are three types of interactions are there in molecular solids. First is the polar molecular solids. The solids in which the molecules are held by strong dipole-dipole forces are known as polar molecular solids. The atoms combined to form molecules are different in nature. For example, sulfur and oxygen atom combine to form sulfur dioxide, which is a polar molecule. Another type of solids is the non-polar molecular solids. The solids in which molecules are made up of same kind of atoms are called non-polar solids. The dipole moment of non-polar molecular solids is zero and the force acting between the constituent particles are weak London dispersion forces. Non-polar molecular solids are soft in nature. They don't conduct electricity. They have very low melting point. Example, hydrogen, chlorine, iodine, etc. The third type of molecular solid is hydrogen bonded molecular solid. In hydrogen bonded molecular solid, the forces responsible for molecular attraction are hydrogen bonds. The boiling and melting point of hydrogen bonded molecular solids are higher than that of the polar and the non-polar molecular solids. Hydrogen bonded molecular solids are non-conductors of heat and electricity. They remain as soft as solid and volatile liquids under specific temperature and pressure. The another type of solid, that is the metallic solids. In metallic solids, the constituent particles are metal atoms and free electrons. The arrangement is made such that the metal remains stationary at fixed position and electrons are free to move inside the lattice. The bonds which are responsible for the existence of metallic solids are strong metallic bonds. Due to the presence of free electrons, metallic solids can easily conduct electricity and heat. Example like copper, zinc, aluminum, etc. are metallic solids. So in this lecture we have covered all the classification of crystalline solids. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.